Hi, this is Jim Stockstill, bringing you another message from the program entitled The Handwriting on the Wall. And I'm bringing it here from my cabin in the mountains of North Carolina. Last time I brought it from my hotel room. Wherever I get a chance to bring a program, I do it right there. I'm sounding the alarm. I've been sounding it now for 4 or 5 years, 6 years probably, as loud and as clearly as I can. But I'm going to talk from my knowledge today, and I'm hoping that this will become your knowledge, that you'll start studying for yourself, that you'll know our enemy. This is a Christian program, and we have to know our enemy. When you go into war, our generals, the generals of the United States, always study the enemy. They understand their habits and their philosophy and what their intentions are. They know their enemies. And of course, the gospel of Jesus Christ is the most important of any teaching. But we have to have an awareness right now as we go into the end times. The prophets are now beginning to teach that Islam is the final beast. I've seen that now for 4 or 5 years, that Islam is the final beast. But the other prophets are coming. A lot of prophets are coming around and saying that Islam is the beast. Jack Van Impe is seeing it. Wallace Shabbat sees it clearly and explains it. Joel Richardson sees it. A lot of the great men of God. Jonathan Cahn is been raised up and is doing a wonderful work. I'm just a little voice in the wilderness or on the lake, declaring, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord." But we have a great threat in the United States. We have a great threat in the world. Islam's major objective is world conquest. Islam believes that everyone is born a Muslim, and that it's only by deception that they become other faiths, and that they do God a favor when they kill you. As soon as they finish killing all the infidels, which is everyone that doesn't believe in Allah, then they will stop their killing and will stop their jihad. Another thing that they believe that their blood is what saves them. As Christians believe that it's only the blood of our precious Savior, the Lamb of God, that cleanses us and saves us. They believe that through jihad, that their blood will save them. Not only that they can get 70 of their families into paradise if they commit an act of jihad. Not only that, but they get 70 full, busted, full-figured women, virgins, and they just lie on couches and enjoy themselves. That paradise for them is luxury, reclining, and sensual sexual activities. Then if they don't get there through their own blood, and they don't get their family members in. That's why you see the women, the mothers, celebrating when their son blows himself up and takes out a lot of innocent people. She just has gained access into paradise, and her husband and the sisters and brothers through their act of jihad. So, they're raised up from birth to hate and to think that any Christian or Jew or Hindu or anybody else is enemies. If they're not one of them, they're an enemy, because this is a totalitarian religion. It includes both government and it includes religion in it. And yet, the progressives here in the United States have embraced it and buddied up with it. But anyhow, we know that the way to Christ is through the cross. And, he's told us to pick up our cross and follow him. And he said, let the mind be in us that was in him, And Christ is our example. But now they're starting to behead, Islam is starting to behead people on our own territory, in our own states, and it's only going to get worse. They actually believe, and I will say extremists, the extremists believe that they're going to fulfill the scriptures themselves. So they read the scriptures, they read the Quran and the Hadith, and they're fulfilling the end time prophecy scriptures. Now, a non-Muslim, someone who is not, what's the word I'm looking for? Extreme, just a moderate Muslim, he still believes that there's going to be world conquest. And then some of them just goes through the motion. They're neither hot nor they're cold, like some Christians are neither hot nor they're cold. So they're not really going to be functional in Islam. But Islam's major goal is to conquer you. Islam's major goal, just like they're doing in the United Kingdom right now, in England, they have instituted their own Sharia law, and it's superseding the law of England. And they're cutting people's heads off in England, and they're protesting. And they'll do anything to get their point across. Lie, steal, cheat, it doesn't matter, as long as it glorifies Allah. See, Allah can be one way one day and one way the next day, because Allah is omniscient. Allah is omnipotent. Allah is all these things, so he can change his mind if he wants to. And that's what he does. But I'm telling you, you need to know your enemy, and you need to pick up the Quran, and you need to research it, or you need to read a summary of it, or listen to Perry Stone is fantastic. Joel Richardson is fantastic. Wallace Shabbat is fantastic. Jack Van Ippy is very good. Erwin Baxter is excellent. There's a lot of men of God who will teach you what's going on. Now, none of us have the perfect solution. We know in part and we prophesy in part. But we're getting the general idea. All the end time events are starting to take shape. Israel is surrounded by enemy. Why do the heathens rage and the nations imagine a vain thing? They surround it. They say, let's go up against unwalled villages and attack Israel. They're saying in their heart, let's push Israel into the sea. And that's what Islam has been saying since its beginning. Let's destroy Israel. I want to talk to you a little bit about the characters that they're looking for in the Islam's looking for right now. You know that Osama bin Laden, the people was worshiping him. He called himself the Madahi. I may not pronounce it. It's Mahdi. Mahdi. I think that's the way it's pronounced. Mahdi. And the people, he was their hero. Whether he's dead or not, I don't know. I haven't seen his body, but he was buried at sea, So that's another thing. I don't believe anything anymore, but that our government does bury a man at sea and make up pictures of him. But anyhow, if he's not dead and he returns from the head wound, then he will be the Mahdi. But I don't know if he's the Mahdi or not, but I'm saying that he's a possibility. I don't know for sure that he's dead or not, and you don't either. You take the government's word for it. But some of the characters that I want to talk about, the Mahdi is one. The Mahdi, there's a lot of traditions in Islam. I mean, you read and you study it, and the Shiites believe one way about the Mahdi, and the Sunnis believe one way about the Mahdi, and there's all these different philosophies. But there is a general consensus, and the Mahdi will establish the last caliphate, and the last caliphate is like the Ottoman Empire when it ruled all the Islamic nations. It was a caliphate, and he will establish the last caliphate. Now, some traditions, some teachings in the Hadith, which is the sayings of Muhammad, some of this say that the Mahdi will be Muhammad reincarnated. So the Mahdi, they're looking for the Mahdi right now. And he'll be the last Inman, some say, and some say that he'll be, they're looking for him as to establish the kingdom of Islam, and to set up the headquarters and everything, the Mahdi. So the Mahdi, to us Christians, will more than likely be the Antichrist. When they start proclaiming the Mahdi is here, then the Antichrist will be here. Remember, those of you pre-tribulation rapturists, that 2 Thessalonians says, according to, I beseech you, brethren, concerning the day of the Lord, the coming of the Lord, and when we're gathered, it won't happen until the Antichrist be revealed. Remember that. It says that. So maybe that'll still, I don't care if we differ in philosophy, and I don't care about the pre-trib. I just want you to know that you're going to see the Antichrist first. That's scriptural. That's scriptural. It's absolutely. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, go read it in every translation of the Bible. And read it in the Hebrew and the Greek, and read it every which way you can, and it says that the Antichrist will come before the Christ. The second person after the Mahdi is Isa, and I don't know again if I'm pronouncing it right, but at least it's I-S-A. It's very simple, and this is Jesus who's coming back, and Jesus is coming back, and they're looking for him, and this is one of the Hadiths, one of the interpretations of the Hadiths. He's going to come back, and then he's going to denounce Christianity. He's going to break the cross in front of everybody, and he's going to go after and lead in killing the Jews and killing the Christians. So Jesus is going to denounce. They don't believe that Jesus died. The Quran definitely says, and you need to look it up, that Allah is not going to have any son. He's only one God. There is no Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the Trinity. And he says, I have no son. Jesus is merely a prophet, and he didn't die according to the Hadith. He was taken up. Allah took him up there, and he will come back. So he's going to come back. So I believe sincerely and strongly that the Isa, when he comes back, is going to be our revelation, going to be our false prophet with the two horns. He's going to come in as peace. So you're going to have the Mahdi, who is going to be our Antichrist, and their caliphate, their main man. He's above Jesus, and then you're going to have Isa, who is our false prophet, and is their religious leader. And some tradition says that he's going to lead the Christians lead the Muslims against the Christians, kill the Christians, and kill the Jews, and then he's going to rule and reign for 40 years, and then he'll die. He'll get married, and then he'll die, and then he'll come back in the very last day again. So their teaching is not specific. The Shiites say one thing, the Sunnis say another, and they're trying to find an agreement. So make an agreement on it. So these are the two people they're looking for. Now, Isa, who they say is Jesus, who was a prophet, who never died, when he comes back, he's going to go against this guy, and this guy is the Dajjal. The Dajjal. And the Dajjal will be a man who is in Israel, or is in the Middle East, who comes up, and the Dajjal is going to be working mighty miracles. And he's going to be healing, and he's going to be calling down fire, and he's going to be doing all sorts of miracles, and the people are going to be coming to him. Now, Perry Stone and I, and a few others believe that this Dajjal will be Enoch or Elijah. There will be two witnesses about this time that all this starts happening. My sister-in-law said, "Do you actually believe in this literally?" And I said, "Yeah." It says, Enoch hasn't died and Elijah hadn't died, and they will be the two witnesses that will come back according to Revelation. And they're going to have all kinds of miracles. So they're going to take the first 3.5 years of the 7-year peace treaty. They're going to be in charge. You can't kill them. You remember, I'll tell you real fast, you can't kill these guys. And if you come against them, they call down fire and destroy you. And they can shut the heavens up when they want to. And they can cause it not to rain. They can cause all kinds of famines and pestilence to come on the people. And they're going to be terrorizing the whole world. So, when eventually it's one of these, the Mahdi, the Antichrist, after 3.5 years, he's allowed to kill them. And they lie in the street 3.5 days, 1 day for each year they're prophesying. And then they're raised up in front of the whole earth, and everybody's watching on television and on the internet, and they're raised up. But before they're raised up, the world is sending gifts to each other, because these guys convicted the world of their sin. And the people have gotten so evil that they don't want to be convicted of their sins. So these are the two things. These are three of the characters that are going to be that Muslims are looking for. They're looking for the Mahdi, they're looking for Isa, and they're looking for this guy called the Dajjal, Al-Dajjal. They're looking for him, and they're looking for him because he'll be one of the two witnesses, Christian witnesses in Revelation. There's another guy, and that they're looking for, but I can't explain him too much. He's not quite as important as the other guys. Let me see if I have it here on any of this. But so now I'm just going to briefly summarize some things. This is about the fourth teaching that I've given on this. I've given on this because they're attacking the world, and they're going to attack every government. They want world domination, just like Hitler wanted world domination, just like Napoleon, Mao Zedong. All these people want world domination. They want world control, and they mean the world. They don't just mean a local geographical area in the Mideast. They want the United States, and they're going to do it by terror. Did you know that what Sunni means terror. Islam wants to win by terror and by fear, fear. And we're going to have plagues and pestilence and earthquakes in many places. We're going to have great things that are happening every day now. And what the people of the world are doing? Some people are making money off of it. They're making money off the fear in the stock market. But I want to prophesy to you right now that this is a convergence of signs that are coming on in America right now. And I really believe that this year we're going to get socked. I believe that we have this year to get ourselves in order, to make our own plans and take care of our family, get in, I don't know, just you got to pray to God and do what you got to do. But I believe we got this year. I believe by September of next year, all these signs will be over and the aftermath is going to sock it in. And you need to get Jonathan Cahn's book, The Shemitah, and you need to listen to my tape on the convergence of the signs right now. We have the convergence of the Shemitah, which is the year every 7 years. Every 7 years, Israel had to forgive all debts and release all things. But when you dig into it really deeper, the Shemitah has been involved. It's a year, it's been involved in every war that we've been into and every economic recession and depression. So the Shemitah is a very big thing, and Jonathan Cahn has written a wonderful book on it, and you should get it and read about it. And I think I also I also have a tape on it in which I get into it, so you can listen to me explain it to you also. So we have the Shemitah. We're going to have 2 solar eclipses in this year. The Shemitah year started in September, and the solar eclipse started in April. And they're going to finish up in April of 2015. The Shemitah started in September and will finish up in September of 2015. Then we're going to have 4 blood moons, a tetrad, which only has occurred 8 times in 2,000 years. And every time we've had the 4 blood moons with solar eclipses in them, there's been a great change in history. So we're looking at a lot of things happen here. So I'm just going to summarize it. The Quran is Islam's holy book. They call it the Holy Quran. The Hadith is written by Muhammad and Muhammad's sayings. So the Quran is thus saith Allah. The Hadith is thus saith Muhammad. So you have different beliefs in Islam. You have the Sunnis and you have the Shiites. And they're the 2 opposing factions in Islam. So their eschatology for the last end time is a little bit different. But you have a lot of philosophers, you have a lot of Inmans who have studied it and have a degree in it, and they're influencing